What's one overlooked but obvious risk to your farm succession plan? One so big that it can devastate generations of work and sink your farm in a matter of months. I'm talking about non-farming heirs. Watch this video to learn what you can do about it to protect your farm. Hi, I'm Jason Wagner, the farm lawyer. I help family farmers pass their farm on to the next generation every single day. We've been doing it at my law firm for over 50 years. Today we're talking about one of the big risks to the farm succession plan, non-farming heirs. Think about it. For generations, this farm has been passed on from one family to the next. But think about it. Your dad's brothers and sisters didn't inherit the farm. Your grandpa's brothers and sisters didn't inherit the farm. It was either gifted to them, sold at a discount, or came to them through the estate plan. I've seen that in so many families. It's probably in your family. It's probably in your family. We see it in the wills. We can see it in the abstract of title when we have to review the chain of title. We know that this farm passed from one hand to the next. Yet somehow some lesson got lost along the way, but it should be an obvious one. If you want the farm to continue, it has to stay in a farmer's hands. Why? Because you can't divide 160 acres or 200 acres or 1,000 acres or 4,000 acres by 6 kids, 8 kids, 12 in some of these larger families years ago and expect the farm to survive. We know statistically and with experience, there's a 99% chance that farm's going to fail if you plan to divide it equally among all your kids. But we also know the reason you have the farm is because somebody before you, oftentimes generations of people before you, put that intentionally in your hands. The decisions that your parents and grandparents and great-grandparents made to exclude other people to allow you to get it is why you have the farm that you have today. So when I hear farmers come in and say that they feel bad that their non-farming heirs aren't going to get land, or that they're being pressured by their non-farming heirs, that they want a piece of the family farm, it doesn't hold a lot of water with me if your objective is to let the farm continue to the next generation and you have a qualified farming heir. Because what entitles this generation to get something that the generations before them that were non-farming heirs did not get? In other words, yes, the farm has value. Yes, it's a family legacy. But why are there aunts and uncles and cousins and all of those people not entitled to the farm, yet somehow they are? And what happens when our non-farming heirs get a piece of that sentimental, gotta have it family farm? They decide to sell it. We see it over and over again. It's not always the intent. Maybe that's not what they had planned to do, but it is what we see. You look around in your neighborhood, you've seen this play out. When a non-farming heir gets farmland, that family farm is no longer a family farm. It's somebody else's family farm because they want to sell. So although we have a great historical record to see that the family farm has passed to farming heirs over generations many times, farmers come into my office and they feel that pressure to be fair by dividing everything equally. But that's not a family farm value. That's a suburban value. That's a consumerist society value. That's commercialism. Think about it. You have a family in the city. We've got a retirement account. We've got stocks. We've got the family home. There is no reason to treat anyone differently. Nobody's life is going to be disruptive. You're not going to lose a legacy by treating everyone equally. The same cannot be true with farming by definition. So when we try to apply modern suburban consumerist values to the family farm, we end up with a bad result, and that should be obvious. But you, as the farmer, or if you're a farm successor, you have to be adamant and you have to be intentional about how you want the farm to continue. This is just real life. And you can explain the consequences to your non-farming heirs. An equal division among farming and non-farming heirs leads to lawsuits, forced sales, partitions, resentment, a loss of the family farm. You may be a 5th or 6th generation family farmer, And if you divide it equally among your non-farming heirs with your farming heirs, it's not going to see the 7th or 8th, because that farm's going to go to auction. The farming heir is going to lose their right to run the land. They're going to lose their livelihood. But non-farming heirs, by law, have a right to an equal inheritance unless you tell them otherwise. And you have to do that through your farm estate plan. I'm talking about a will or a trust, forming farm LLCs, transferring and gifting farm assets to your farming heir during life. These are all steps that need to happen for you to protect the farm and to let it go to generations 6, 7, 8, and beyond. Maybe this farm has been in your family for over 100 years. If you want it to make another 100 years, you've got to make these tough decisions. Your grandparents and parents showed courage by keeping the farm together. Now it's your turn to lead, to make a tough decision that protects the farm, even if it's not perfectly equal on paper. There are ways that you can still treat your non-farming heirs fairly, not equally, fairly. How do we do that? One way is you could have life insurance. If you have life insurance, you can direct all of that to your non-farming heirs. Or bank accounts or retirement accounts. I've got a number of farm estate plans where all of the farming assets, plus the debt and all the expenses that go with it, go to our farming heir, but our non-farm assets, like life insurance, bank accounts, maybe even ethanol stock, goes to our non-farming heirs. And let's put that into context. If you have $1 million life insurance policy, you can shove that into the stock market. Maybe it'll grow 7%. That's $70,000 a year. If you have $1 million worth of farmland, good luck getting $70,000 a year off of it. You might need a lot more than that. So I'm just showing the differences here is that although the values may be different, the income potential of those assets can be a lot different too. And if you put pen to paper and run the math, your non-farming heirs can make an equal amount of income off of non-farming assets as your farming heir can make off of farm assets. Even though the values are different, the rate of return on those assets are also different. So if you want the farm to continue to the next generation, don't let non-farming heirs control its future. Start the conversation now. Reach out. I help Minnesota farm families pass the farm on to the next generation every single day. We've got several other attorneys at my office, Wagner Oehler, that do the same exact thing. We're here to help. We care about farming. We want family farming to continue, and we want to be part of your story. Check out farmlawyer.com or give us a call at 507-288-5567. Also, subscribe, follow me on Facebook. Love to hear from you.